everyone. This is Suzanne Spooner, QHHT Level 3 practitioner. For those that may be watching this and don't know what QHHT is, it's quantum healing hypnosis technique. It's a technique of hypnosis that helps guide people into a very deep state of relaxation or hypnosis where they can have clear and easy access to all knowledge. It really happens. It's true. And I have a session segment for you. Oh my gosh, it's loaded. It's triggery. I don't know how this is going to be received. I've been going kind of back and forth on do I, don't I, but I think I think it needs to come out. So, and my client has generously right out of the, at the end of the session, she and I were talking about it, and she has agreed to allow me to share this segment with you. It's not the whole session. We're just going to concentrate on the oh my gosh stuff. So, gosh, this is such an interesting session. It's about Trump. And I'm calling it terrific, terrible Trump because it's everything. I think people who like Trump will find things in here that they really like and felt deep down. I think people that hate Trump will find things that they really like and hate. It's the whole shebang. So it focuses on Trump, but the overall perspective is, I think, the most important part. Love him or hate him, this really gives a very interesting understanding of why he's here and what he's doing and why he's doing it. And it's going to test you. I'm afraid that most of you are going to want to stop the recording partway through because at different times you're going to really agree and different times you're going to really disagree. But if you can, write it out and listen all the way through. And maybe listen twice because it's like that. There's a lot layered on this recording. So to give you just a little bit of insight of how I'm going to start this recording, I am going to include just a little bit before we get into the Trump part, because I want you to get a flavor of this client when she's in that deep state of hypnosis and the very deep level of information that she's giving for the client herself. This is her answering her own questions, doing her own healing. We're actually in the midst of the part of the session of the hypnosis where she's going through her body and finding the things that need to be healed and repaired. So where this segment's going to kick off at is right towards the end of that, what we call the body scan. Who would have thought this is where we're heading in a body scan? These sessions are just so unique and interesting. So we're starting in with her talking about what's going on in her jaw and her mouth area. From there, we make a segue, just a brief one about COVID. And from COVID, we are off and running to the races about Donald Trump and the high perspective of what he is doing. So thank you for watching this. Thank you for watching it with open minds all the way to the end. And let me know what you think. I think this is going to trigger a lot, and I'm sorry for that, but I think it's good. I think it's good for us to entertain this perspective. And again, this is my client's high self, that part of her that knows everything. So you can throw it out. You don't have to subscribe to what is being said at all, but I do think there's some validity to what she's saying, and we'll know later, but this will be a good one to come back to in several months and years to see if what she's saying actually occurs. So I guess that's all I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you share it, like it, do all those things to get this information out and let people decide for themselves what is a possibility or a probability in this amazing time on Earth that we are witnessing. So that's all I got for you. You can find me at SuzanneSpoonerQHHT.com, and I'm really happy to, I'm kind of scared, but I'm really happy to share this segment with you. I hope it opens your mind up. Thank you very much.
So anywhere else in the body that you're working on before I go over to her list of questions?
I'm kind of brought to this whole jaw mouth area.
Okay, what do you see going on with her jaw and her mouth?
It feels like tension. It's really about this feeling that she's been talking about, how it's not time yet and she's ready, and she gets the sense that she's ready to speak and share this information, but the information has not been released. So it's like it already knows what it's supposed to do. Like, it's already there. It's already saying these things. It's already speaking, and yet in reality it's not. So it's like it is like it's being stopped from something that needs to happen. And it's not like she's stopping it because she wants to be the one. She wants to start this conversation and get this going, but it's not the right time. And so that's what's so uncomfortable.
Well, she does ask about that. She was telling me earlier that she feels like she's like right on the verge of having this next big piece of information dropped in.
Mm-hmm. And people just aren't ready yet. There's like the dust has not settled. The thing is the building is still falling down. So you don't start cleaning up till the building's down and the dust is settled. So she needs to just settle down and let the building completely collapse and the dust settle. That's when it can be cleaned up.
So when it is that time to start cleaning up, what will it be like for her? What will she notice?
Opportunity, a willingness to listen. People just like totally giving up on the old ways because they are completely broken. Hopelessness. I think people. I kind of get a sense of people are desperate. People will be desperate for the hope and for the idea of, let's figure out how we can make something work and change and be now that it's all fallen apart.
What happens to get to that point of all falling apart?
I get another wave. Like this whole thing is not done. This whole COVID thing is not done, and there's the next wave, and I don't know, stopping of it all again, like halting, more control, more lack of rights, lack of freedom, not being able to be around people getting really tired of that and feeling lonely. It's going to take a while for people to really feel like they're being squashed before they say, enough of this. And they still have hope because of the election. And when the election happens, I don't know, do I get a sense of which way it's going to go? It's like it's not determined yet. It's not determined. If the election goes one way, then the process will continue. And if the election goes the other way, we'll fall back and try to build and Band-Aid up the broken systems.
So can you tell us more from your perspective about all of that?
Yeah, okay, Becky totally knows this stuff because she learned it, and it's the craziest thing. Trump is an ascended master who came to this planet to make the change we've all asked for. They decided, like the group decided that they'd sent really good people to this planet. Jesus, Mohammed, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, all these people to do really good things. And it made change, but it didn't make enough. Like now it's not working. Like that didn't work enough. Right now we need such big change to move this monster of a world of darkness and greed and self service to self. And the only way this could be shifted is for us to craft the most hideous person we could come up with. A person that represents all the darkness in our world, namely America. And this guy has no idea what he's here to do. He has no idea what he's doing. The things he does, he just does because it's serving his own business purposes, making him more money. But what's really happening is something so spectacular that you can't even imagine it. He's breaking down the systems. Nobody can buy him. So whatever he does is just awful. And it's leading to the biggest shifts our world has ever experienced, maybe short of the World War II. And if he doesn't get reelected, then if he gets reelected, it will continue. The systems will break down. We will continue to see this reflection of the shittiest parts of America, which is what we need to see in order to make it change. But if he doesn't get reelected, we're going to spend the next 20 or 30 years putting Band-Aids on the problems we already have, which we don't need that anymore. We've done that for years and years and years. We do not need that. We need somebody that's going to just break it all to hell so that we then can build a system from the way it should be, not the way it has been.
Wow. And you're saying he's not aware, fully aware that...
Not at all aware. If he was aware, he could never do this. If he had any glimmer of the light he represents, he would never be able to do what he's doing. He's doing it because he is completely a dark force looking. He looks like a complete dark force. And if he had any idea that he actually was an ascended master sent here to break our systems up, he couldn't do it because he would have an awareness of his light. He has no awareness of his light, and if he did, he couldn't do what he's doing. When he dies, which he will probably die the minute his job is done here, he'll be gone, which might be in 2 or 3 years, like a heart attack. Because he doesn't, like, his higher self does not want to stay here any longer than he has to, because what's happening is so bad, and he is making it happen. But when he feels like his job's done, he's just going to be gone like that, and we're going to be like, oh my God, what happened? But his job will have been done, and then everything will be able to be rebuilt from a new, fresh perspective, based on a world we want, not the world we have or we have had. It's amazing, and it might not happen. So, in November we'll see, and it's only after that. It's after that that we even know how to start and know where to begin. It's hard. How can you imagine voting for a guy that's so despicable? And if we don't vote for him, we're going to have Band-Aids put on a problem that won't go away. That's just incredible.
Wow. That's a lot to take in, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It just seems like these are crazy words.
It's like the craziest movie you could ever
imagine. I know. Like, how can you imagine that you'd actually, it's almost like you have to, oh God, how do you vote for somebody like this? How do you vote for someone like that? This is what this person, even Becky, can't imagine how she can vote for somebody like this, other than she knows that it's so important she has to. Oh, I can't tell anybody. I just can't tell anybody who I'm voting for because it just seems so crazy. I'm voting for an ascended master who's here to change everything by being the most hideous human being on the planet. Oh, I can't believe that.
So tell us, since we're on this topic, it's just so fascinating.
Yeah.
What is it about him as the ascended master that we don't understand or would benefit from knowing more?
Because we are all, not all of us, some of us are sent here as ascended masters, and what happened is, you are the Galactic Federation or whoever is in charge of America, I mean, is in charge of the Earth, has these, like we work together to figure out who we can put in at what times in history to make change and shift change, to make change and shift things. And so when you think about the shifts we've had on this planet, sometimes they've been good, positive shifts because of a good, positive person. Sometimes they've been positive shifts based on a really bad person. So when you think about Hitler and Stalin and Vlad the Impaler and like these really, really dark forces that have been on the earth, like they've shifted things so significantly that nothing was ever the same after them. And, you know, I don't know if I have a clear sense of how that could even be.
Well, it's kind of like the direct opposite coming to light after the darkness, or?
Well, yeah, kind of like that. So we have shown Becky to, because this has come up before, the idea of how could this be, like with Trump, how could this be true? And I said, if this is true, then you're also saying that there was some great purpose, and possibly Hitler was an ascended master who came and did something that was so awful but was so purposeful. And we've told her, indeed, it is true, because the Jewish people volunteered to come at that time to stop all the persecution of their race going forward in history by what happened to them at that point. They essentially healed all their ancestors and all their descendants by being a part of that hideous moment in life. And somebody had to create that opportunity for them, which was an ascended master who came down and said, okay, I will do this. And it's just, you just can't believe that somebody could be so crazy. Like Hitler was so crazy, and what it took for him to be that crazy, to be able to make that happen, to, you know, take this group of people and heal all the ancestors and eliminate all the persecution in the future by that moment in time, which seems so horrible.
So there's still some persecution of the Jewish people to this day. I mean, just persecution of all people, actually.
That's it. There will always be that. But it's not to that extent. No, I mean, and really, it's like, you know, black people are persecuted, poor people are persecuted, like all people are, in some sense, all the time. Like a white male military guy, 50% of the people love him, 50% of the people hate him, and he's a white guy. Who, you know, we think that white guys aren't persecuted, but all of our military are persecuted 50% of the time, and it's like, everybody is. Like, that's part of how we become good people and learn how to be good people, is when people bully us, we know, oh my gosh, I'm being bullied. I'm not going to do this to somebody else. Like, this is part of the lesson of our polarity of being treated like crap, so you know what it feels to be treated well.
So, okay.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. So really on a wider perspective, it sounds like, love him or hate him, he's helping bring systems down that no longer serve, never really served, I would imagine, humanity. But he's the one that is capable of bringing down those systems. Yeah,
100%. Like, think about. Okay, Elon Musk is another person that has come and been sent here to revolutionize our technology and our ability to, you know, move to other planets or whatever he's doing, all the crazy things he's doing. And so here, you know, you have some people that make money when they're younger and most people don't. And so you have these two people that are so wealthy and have so much power in this world. And most of us don't get to that point. And so you have to be like some extremely strange person to be able to do what it takes to get that much money, to be able to make these systems change. So like Elon saying, I'm going to do things differently. Okay, I'm going to send a rocket to Mars or whatever. Like no average person does that. There's no way an average person can get the money to make that sort of thing happen. Same thing with Trump. There's no way that person could get that kind of money, like a regular person can get the money that it takes to be able to become president of the United States and not be controlled by somebody. Every other president has been controlled by forces that are self-serving, not Christ consciousness beings. They are the ones that have controlled our world. And Trump has no link to those. He doesn't care at all. In fact, he's so unlinked to anybody. No one controls him. And it's the decisions and the unpredictability and everything that's catching people off guard. They can't think fast enough to figure out how to keep him from wreaking all this havoc. But we need the havoc to be wreaked because nothing else is going to work. Nothing else works. You don't find good, gentle, loving people that change systems very often. And that's sad. That's like a sad reality for us. And right now our systems on a world scale are so messed up that it's going to take something so messed up to make it happen and make it change.
So if he, on the trajectory, say he gets elected, or even where things stand at this moment in time, what has he changed and affected to create a better place ultimately?
I'm not sure he's done any of that to create a better place. I think his job is not to do any part of the creation process. I think what his job is to bring it all down, is to burn the house down. There's nothing redeeming about what he's doing. I mean, that's not the truth. That's not the wording. His job is not in any way to create a better system. Not in any way. His job is to bring it all down. There's no way to repair a broken bridge. This bridge has to be torn down in order for us to decide as a collective how we want our new system to be. And it can't be based on old thinking and old processes and old structures. It cannot be. It cannot be. We fixed and fixed and fixed. No way. It's a creation. It's a new creation. We are building a brand new bridge with new materials.
And so looking forward then, if it's sooner because of his election or longer because of not, what is that new creation like? Can you describe what that's going to be?
Doesn't mean darkness is going away. I'll just say that. So there's still some of that. It's just a much more balanced system of the light and dark. Based on compassion's the word that's coming up. Based on compassion and equality and oh God, it's like it's kind of like when you meet a normal person and you realize they're actually such a good person. Like they've got a good heart, they want what's best for the world, and they have an idea of what that looks like. Let's just say it's those people that are going to be creating our world, rather than it being some business person or some person that needs to figure out how to make money for themselves and draw attention to themselves. Those people are going away with this thing that's breaking down. And what we're left with are people saying, well, what do you think? Let's figure this out together. It's going to be as simple as that sort of a scenario where we figure out what's going to work for us. And you see it a little bit in the schools. So the schools are now kind of working together. What's going to work for our school district and our kids? And everybody's trying all kinds of different things. And after we do this a bit, we're going to realize which systems worked better. So we actually are starting to see little systems percolate up because right now we have school systems that aren't working. And so we're going to figure out, how does it look to teach our kids in a new way, completely separate from how we did it in the past? because now we have to do it completely different than we did it in the past. And so it's about collaboration. It's about, we're going to watch what everybody does, and then we're going to use the systems that have actually worked the best and go forward with those systems. And it's not based on how we used to do it. It's based on how we see we need to do it now, because the kids of today are so different from our parents. And we are kind of a bridge where we came in as inspectors, like, is this right? Do we want to continue this forward? And we've taught our kids differently than our parents taught us. Like, nobody talked about sex. Well, we talked to our kids about sex. Our parents are really uncomfortable with gay and lesbian, and we are less concerned or don't really think much of that as an issue. And so, like, we are kind of like the breakers of what happened, and then our kids are the destroyers of the systems, and will bring them down and end them, because it stops with them. No more. I see it in kids right now, like the kids who've had just a few years of nasty, shitty life, and they're already saying at 19, no, I'm not going to carry this forward. This has to stop now. It's not going to go forward. And so we're seeing this, like these cohorts of people stopping these systems, so that the new alpha generation can actually be more of the orchestrators of the building. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean we're not helping build the systems, but we're like, certain systems are percolating up as being, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? And it's about collaborating on a local level and on a school-wide level, and with your neighbors. And how do we want our system to look, because we're in Colorado or we're in Iowa, versus what a system should look like in England or New England, because their needs are different from our needs. So, it's kind of like this beautiful orchestration of things. That's just the whole school system thing is a demonstration of what it's going to look like on all levels.
Nice. Okay. Wow. That is a lot to take in. Thank you. Okay. So I guess we could say he's very, very good and very, very bad, and he's exactly what he needs to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think he's going to take 4 years. I think he's going to come in because, okay, here's the thing. If he doesn't have to be reelected, and he knows he's not going to have a chance to be reelected, he's going to go absolutely batshit crazy and do anything he wants to do, and it's going to get really ugly. And then at some point, it's going to be done enough that he can just die, and he will just go. Like, this is a tough job. He does not want to stay around and be persecuted for what he's done. He's going to just go. Kind of like Hitler. He just took his own life and just died at one point. I think he did. Or maybe not. Maybe like some people say that he did, but Trump is just going to go. I don't think he's going to last 4 years. I don't think it'll take that long, because at some point it's going to just be unbelievable to people, and they'll have to do something, or he'll be like, okay, I'm out, I'm done, and he'll go.
So the systems will be crashed down enough at that point that he can take off and the rebuilding can start?
Yeah.
That is interesting. Okay.
Oh, it's so interesting. It's just hard to believe. How do you even tell people that with them just hating you?
Oh, well, I think everybody's kind of open at this point because of how everything's gone down to this point. 2020 is the craziest year, but
craziest.
It's absolutely on point to what we need to get to in order to create what we want to create. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, back to her and her questions.
Okay.